Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. It's kind of been a long while, or at least a few weeks. But what we're going to do is, I came out here the other night and I finished up the steering, so now it all steers and whatnot, and we got this tire mounted. Now, one thing I wanted to show you is, we have to get this one mounted. But we have to trim the lug nuts because the lug nuts don't sit flush with the wheel spacer. So we got to definitely trim those and get those nice and flat and in there. So I'm going to show you how we're going to do that. So what we're going to do is chuck one up here in the vise. And we want to leave a little gap because we don't have to trim much off at all, really. And this is not going to hurt the lug nut or anything. There's plenty of meat there to bite. So and that's all we got to do. And we got a few more to do and we'll be done. So now all we got to do is put these lug nuts on and get them all tight. Guys, I want to thank you for stopping in and watching. I'm sorry it's been a while. This build is kind of on the bottom of the to-do list right now, since you guys are keeping us busy with selling clutch kits and everything. I want to thank you for doing that. And so guys, I want to thank you for all of your business and your support and everything you've done for us. I am going to try and hightail it on this build and see about getting it done and getting it running here real quick. We do have a lot to do on it. Still got some stuff to tighten up. So let's get this on here, and we're not going to tighten up any of the bolts or anything. Only bolts we have to tighten up here are the 4 shock bolts and the 2 bolts for the A-arms. But I want to tighten all the bolts last. That way I know that I got them. Because I'll go through the whole thing and tighten them all up. But I want to do that after, when it's ready to be driven. Because I also got to go over it and weld some stuff. And then I'm going to be honest with you. I'm going to hand the kids some colors of paint that they choose. And let them paint it any way that they want to. I think they'll like to do that. That'll make it their own. They want to splatter paint it, that's fine. Whatever they want to do, it's theirs. Look at that. She now sits on her own turf. I'm gonna have to adjust those, but we don't want to adjust those until we can load it down. I'll be honest with you, turning radius is probably gonna suck unless there's a way we can get that stopper to stop. Well guys, so that front end is done. The rear end is done. The only thing I have to do is the same thing I did up there, back here on the studs, and get the drums and everything back on, which I'll do that off camera. I was thinking maybe we could fit the carburetor on and find where the throttle cable goes and pull it out. It goes right here. Let's go ahead and get the carburetor on it. All right, let's get this carburetor up on here. Just like so. Oh wow, is that bolt or that nut tight fit? Now it looks like the throttle cable is gonna be right there by the seat, but the seat's set up right there in the corner enough to where it shouldn't hurt a thing. I'll just get that up on there. Make sure that's tight. All right guys, carburetor's on. Now let's run the throttle cable. So guys, we gotta pull this slide out of here. Gotta be careful, it may come flying out because nothing's put together in there. Definitely don't want to lose anything at all. I'll pull that out. Now this throttle cable, it's super easy. All we have to do is slide it through this boot, which is tight. It's supposed to be tight and snug. Now we can take this cable, put it through there. We want to put this rubber O-ring on there. Those of you who never messed with a carburetor before, and then you just take and put this spring in there, and then I'm gonna squeeze this, We're going to take this needle, we're going to just hold it. This goes through there, goes through there. That spring goes down on. Yeah, we'll see what slack it gives us. Now this, it has a notch. The biggest notch is always going to be your idle air screw notch. It's got like a taper on it, so you're going to want to match that up. But this long notch here, there's normally a notch in the carburetor where it lines up. You can't really put these in backwards. I mean, you can. There is room for error. You just slide it down in here and screw the cap on. Make sure it's snug, just like that. She works good. Let's make sure it's opening all right. Yep, that's all the way. All right, now this cable, we're gonna run it down and under because I want to hook it into the pedal somehow, but I don't know how I can do that. All right, guys, so I want to show you what I did there. I did it off camera. You can see I was able to utilize the stock mount. I just had to bend it over. That was all. All I did was bend it over. Everything literally fit. Everything literally fit down in there the way that it should. All right, guys, so now what I want to do is work on the shifter. And the reason I want to work on the shifter before I go welding anything up is that way I make sure I have room for it. So looks like it's going to be a tight fit on here, but it's going. Get that bolt in there. It's gonna have to be like that. Let's love tap that on there. Maybe. Let's see. I might have to come back off. Maybe, huh? Maybe. This is a brand new shifter, actually. Oh, come on. There we go. All right, so it looks like it's got to go somewhere in here. So let's see. It should go right in there. And it should just tighten right up. There we go. I got it. I got it, I think. I hope. Let's see. It looks like it's going. Yep, it's going to tighten up for us. Now, oh, that's in the wrong position. Oh, shoot. I got to bring it back more. There we go. All right. Now we should be in the right spot. And there we go. Now let's get that tightened up. So guys, it really won't be long and we'll be able to test drive this, I'm pretty sure. You want to get that bolt real tight in there. Now what we need to do is figure out what we got to do, because I'm thinking we're going to need a lever to come out here. All right, guys, so now we're going to work on the shifter, but I want to tell you what we're going to do. So I had this shifter knob laying around, and this piece right here is an inner tie rod from a Z-Force 800 Trail, and this is just a bolt that I had laying around. We're gonna put that in there, we're gonna weld it, then we're gonna weld it to this bolt here I got going across there, and it's gonna go right there. Then we're gonna weld this bolt in here, we're gonna put an eyelet on it, and then we're gonna put an eyelet back here, and we're gonna run a piece of all thread, and hopefully that'll work. So without further ado, let's get to welding. Look at that, guys. We've got a shifter. It is shifting. Now, when you shift it down, you do got to pull it up. I may have to put a spring or something on it, a return spring. But when you pull it back, it returns fine. That's just due to the weight of the shifter leverage. But we do got it on, and it does seem to shift actually pretty smooth. Plenty of leg room for the driver. Now remember, I'm building this for the kids, so they're a lot smaller. That and it is a golf cart, so we do have enough room for the seat here. Passenger leg, which again, for the kids, they're a lot smaller. Jarek, he probably won't drive this for a long time, but he'll sit here, and if my legs are comfortable, his ought to be too. So, and one thing I am thinking about is maybe making this a little bit longer, but we'll see how the kids go. Because the way this is going to be designed anyway, you really won't need to shift it because it's going to be so low geared. So you really won't need to shift it. You just have to kind of put it in that gear that you want and go for it. So they won't really have to be shifting it. Now they will be having to use the clutch a lot, but they won't have to be going, no. It's not going to be geared like this. It's going to be geared for torque, so it's going to be pretty slow. Most of the time, they're probably going to be able to just put it in 4th or 5th gear and send it. Maybe I might re-gear it, and then they can use like 3rd gear and then shift from there. But 1st and 2nd is going to be pretty non-existent. So that, I believe, is neutral. But honestly, guys, that's hooked up. We just got to get the clutch pedal installed. And I don't know if I want to do a clutch pedal or a lever here for the clutch. And it's on a pivot system, so when that engine moves up and down, it's going to pivot. It's not really going to mess with this too much. Seems to be, it is kind of a long throw going down. Going back is okay, but I should have put it, and I can still adjust it. It is adjustable. I could bring it back if I wanted to, because honestly, I could probably bring it back about halfway. So guys, I want to thank you for tuning in on this build. I'm really enjoying building this thing. This is super fun for me to do. We just got to finish up some welding and get the wiring on, get the exhaust on, get a gas tank and a battery on. And I don't know what we're going to do to finish the front end yet. Maybe we'll bend some tubing. I don't know yet. But my goal right now is to get it running and driving, because that front end, that could be last. So we want to finish welding everything and get a clutch, some sort of a clutch on here, and get the gas pedal because it's kind of stiff. It just needs some lube and maybe even a tighter spring. I don't know. So next video, we're going to probably finish welding this cage, get some sort of a clutch hooked up. We might start on the electronics. I think I might have a battery here somewhere I can maybe toss on it. I got to figure out a gas tank. I don't know. I really don't want to put a pump on it. So I might get just a little gas tank and maybe mount it to the back of the cage or something and let it gravity feed down. I don't know what I want to use for that yet. Maybe some sort of a little can that holds a gallon or two, or so. I don't know yet. I'm not sure, because I really don't want to put a pump on it. A pump is gonna drain the battery. This thing's not gonna keep up with much. I don't think the charging system, I think the system's just barely enough to keep the battery charged and maybe run a couple of lights off the stator. That's probably about it. We do plan on putting a light bar or something on it. I do got light bars, but we'll get to that point. I don't know. So if you got any ideas, let me know, because the front end is finished. The front end just needs some bolts tightened up. It's done except for finishing off the body, and it's already getting heavy. So thinking maybe I kind of wanted to go for like a Jeep style or something. Other than that, in a couple more videos, it'll be running, and then we can really like toss on the floor pans, which is going to be last, because I want to run my wiring first and then tack on the steel for the floor pan, which should be easy, and get all that done. And then the electronics is literally plug and play, or it's supposed to be anyway. And I gotta find an exhaust, so I'll probably go on there tonight or something and look for an exhaust. So if you guys like how this build's coming along, definitely let me know in the comment section down below, and let me know if you what you like. Let me know if there's something you'd like to see done to it. Let me know if there's some changes, and let's hear your thoughts on it. I know this is more of a, this is not like a show build. This is a redneck, like a rat type build, and that's the look that I'm going for. That's why I did the shifter the way that I did. That's why I did the cage the way that I did. So I know I'm gonna have comments, oh, Redneck, he's just doing a crappy job. Though I'm doing it this way because I want that look. I want that ratty look, and it just gonna give like a junkyard build vibe, and that's kind of what I was going with this. It's not gonna be a showpiece. It's not gonna be nice and shiny when it's done. This is like a junkyard build that I wanted to do on the channel. Thought it would be cool and fun for everybody to watch, and fun for me to do, and just kind of see what I could scrounge out of the garage here. I've only had to buy a handful of things. You know, we had to get the motor and the wiring and stuff like that, but steel wise, tire wise, it's all been out of the garage pretty much, all leftover stuff from other builds. And I think it's turning out good. It's gonna be a nice ratty type build, and if this goes as well as I think it will on the channel, we may be able to do some sort of like really bad to the bone, really slick, really sleek build that will be shiny, and it won't be a junkyard build, because you guys seen some of the stuff that I can do. I can make some nice stuff, or I can make some junkyard builds like this. You guys remember back in the day, that TV show, in a different country, I think it was called Junkyard something or another. They went around a junkyard and built cool stuff. That's kind of what I'm doing with this. It's pretty much a roundabout way, but I also got to do it to where the boys won't get hurt on it or anything like that. It's not going to be a fast thing, and I doubt they'll be climbing any hills with it. Probably just putting through the mud and basic trails, and we'll probably be able to take it to the campground. So it's going to be basically an overgrown golf cart, but I do plan on ripping on it. So I don't want to break it, but I plan on ripping on it. The main thing I'm worried about is breaking that rear diff, so I don't want to rip too hard. But yeah, guys, I want to thank you for watching. That's all we had time for today. I'm super sorry videos are kind of lacking, and this thing's taking its good old sweet time. But I'm trying my best, and I have some cool things planned for you guys. And hey, peace out. God bless. We'll see you in the next one.